Welcome to the Ultimate Sports Blog Podcast. Today is Sunday, December 9th, 2018. Today I'm going to recap yesterday's Army-Navy game, college basketball, NBA, NHL, look ahead to today's NFL games, and do a little previewing to the winter meetings, which begins today as well. But first I want to discuss Kyler Murray, who won the Heisman Trophy last night over Tua Tagovailoa and Dwayne Haskins. Bizarre that Kyler Murray all of a sudden became a favorite after Tua was a heavy favorite not that long ago. Then you knew something was up, and sure indeed something was up as Murray wins the Heisman Trophy. Tagovailoa comes in second, and Haskins comes in third. Fourth place ended up being Will Grier from West Virginia. I wonder if the Mountaineers had won their last two games, if Grier would have won. That's, to me, the biggest game swinger in terms of the Heisman Trophy. Or if, obviously, they win those two games and they win the Big 12 championship game, maybe they're in the playoff, too. So those two losses at the end of the year by West Virginia cost Will Grier perhaps the Heisman Trophy, and it swung it to Kyler Murray. And obviously, Tua getting hurt in the SEC championship game did Kyler Murray a favor, or else Tua would have won, I think. Army-Navy was yesterday. Army, for the third straight year, defeats Navy, this time by a score of 17-10, as Army finishes what was a phenomenal season for them at 10-2. Navy drops it 3-10. Actually, Army has a bowl game. They're in the Armed Forces Bowl, so they do have one more game left, but still, this is a great year for Army as they win the Commander-in-Chief's trophy for the third straight season. Next, college basketball. A lot of interesting results from yesterday. Abilene Christian defeats Shriner 93-53. Abilene Christian goes to 9-1. Michigan defeats South Carolina 89-78. Michigan goes to 10-0. South Carolina goes to 4-5. Number 10, Michigan State defeats Florida 63-59. Michigan State 8-2. Florida 5-4. Northwestern defeats DePaul 75-68. Northwestern 7-3. DePaul 5-2. West Virginia defeats Pitt 69-59. West Virginia 6-3. Pitt is 7-3. Seton Hall defeats number 9 Kentucky 84-83 in overtime at Madison Square Garden. The impressive thing about this is that Miles Cale hits a go-ahead three-pointer to win the game with 9.5 seconds left in overtime. But before that, Keldon Johnson hit a half-court heave that tied the game in what was just a phenomenal basketball game. Gus Johnson was on the call this one, and he was having a good time for sure. Seton Hall 6-3, Kentucky 7-2. Oklahoma defeats Wichita State 80-48. Oklahoma 8-1. Wichita 4-4. Eastern Michigan defeats Central State Ohio 105-53. Eastern Michigan's 5-5. UCF defeats Grambling 70-45. UCF 7-2. Grambling 4-5. Memphis defeats UAB 94-76. Memphis 5-4. UAB 6-3. Marist defeats Stetson 75-79. Marist 4-4. Stetson 2-9. LIU defeats St. Peter's 74-58. LIU 5-4. St. Peter's 2-7. Western Carolina defeats UNC Asheville 71-59. WCU is 3-8. UNC Asheville is 1-8. Now I'm just going to go through the scores. I'm not going to do the records because I'm short on time. Indiana State defeats Truman State 77-69. Central Connecticut State defeats Penn State Wilkes 79-58. Rhode Island defeats Holy Cross 79-63. Morgan State defeats Towson 74-69. Illinois defeats UNLV 77-74. Penn State defeats Colgate 76-65. Number 21 Villanova defeats St. Joe's 70-58. Cincinnati defeats Xavier 62-47. BYU defeats Utah 74-59. UMBC defeats Drexel 91-76. Quinnipiac defeats Lafayette 88-77. UMKC defeats South Dakota 65-63. Dartmouth defeats Maine 78-52. Brown defeats Stony Brook 71-69. Western Michigan defeats Youngstown State 88-77. Appalachian State defeats NC Central 82-73. Miami of Ohio defeats Purdue Fort Wayne 85-79. Northern Iowa defeats Dubuque 75-67. Indiana defeats Louisville 68-67. Fordham defeats Rutgers 78-70. Loyola Maryland defeats Binghamton 83-65. Toledo defeats Marshall 75-74 in overtime. Gardner-Webb defeats Johnson Wales, North Carolina 102-55. SIU Edwardsville defeats Harris Stowe 92-87. Syracuse defeats Georgetown 72-71. Western Kentucky defeats Arkansas 78-77. Ohio defeats Radford 78-69. Number 23 Maryland defeats Loyola Chicago 55-41. Minnesota defeats Arkansas State 72-56. Number 22 Mississippi State defeats Clemson 82-71. Houston defeats Oklahoma State 63-53. Hofstra defeats Rider 89-73. Northeastern defeats Oakland 92-83. South Alabama defeats Tulane 81-60. Number 17 Buffalo defeats St. Bonaventure 80-62. William and Mary defeat Hampton 76-71. Siena defeats Robert Morris 74-71. Valparaiso defeats George Washington 82-79. Penn defeats LaSalle 83-65. NJIT defeats St. Francis Brooklyn 82-60. American defeats Howard 85-83. Georgia Southern defeats Mercer 89-74. Army defeats Air Force 66-61. East Tennessee State defeats UT Martin 80-62. Lehigh defeats Mount St. Mary's 85-78. Colorado State defeats Sam Houston State 71-65. Kent State defeats Wright State 83-76. Boise State defeats Central Washington 82-62. UTSA defeats Mid-America CU 104-74. North Carolina AT defeats Greensboro 92-67. Butler defeats Northern Illinois 95-68. Tulsa upsets number 16 Kansas State 47-46. Utah State defeats Weber State 76-67. Central Michigan defeats Southern Utah 95-86. Number 25 Furman defeats South Carolina upstate 74-60. Marquette upsets number 12 Wisconsin 74-69 in overtime. Wait, that's not an upset. Marquette was favored. Texas State defeats Houston Baptist 90-80. Austin Peay defeats Calvary 116-33. Number 3 Duke defeats Yale 91-58. Alcorn State defeats Champion Christian 105-45. Jacksonville State defeats Delaware State 81-54. Number 24 Nebraska defeats Creighton 94-75. Jacksonville defeats Mid-Georgia State 100-57. Colorado defeats UIC 84-72. North Texas defeats UT Arlington 63-61. Bowling Green defeats Green Bay 97-68. Eastern Kentucky defeats Northern Kentucky 76-74. Number 11 Florida State defeats UConn 79-71 in Newark. Central Arkansas defeats Little Rock 85-82. Albany defeats Monmouth 82-63. Fresno State defeats Long Beach State 92-71. Vermont defeats Harvard 71-65. Southern Illinois defeats Southeast Missouri State 83-73. Ole Miss defeats Illinois State 81-74. Utah Valley defeats Northern Arizona 98-78. North Dakota State defeats Eastern Washington 74-67. Oregon defeats Omaha 84-61. Murray State defeats Middle Tennessee 64-42. Eastern Illinois defeats Western Illinois 74-67. Number 8 Auburn defeats Dayton 82-72. Number 2 Kansas defeats New Mexico State 63-60. Texas Southern defeats Concordia, Texas 107-70. Pepperdine defeats Jackson State 69-66. Portland defeats Sacramento State 76-67. Cal Poly defeats Bethune-Cookman 80-78 in overtime. Cal State Bakersfield defeats Idaho 73-67. Cal Baptist defeats Caltech 87-48. UC Irvine defeats Montana 60-51. Santa Barbara defeats Arkansas Pine Bluff 55-45. UCLA defeats Notre Dame 65-62 on a game-winning 3 by Chris Wilkes with 0.1 seconds left. California defeats San Diego State 89-83. Hawaii defeats Hawaii Hilo 82-75. Boston and A&M was canceled. Today's slate, not big. Underway at MSG, Iona and Columbia. 12:30, New Hampshire, Niagara. 1 o'clock, SC State at number 15, Virginia Tech. 1 o'clock, ESPN, Arizona, Alabama. Give me Arizona on the road. I just think they're the better team. Princeton and St. John's from the Garden as well. 1 o'clock, Also, Longwood Duquesne, Fairfield Old Dominion, Notre Dame College, Cleveland State, VMI Chattanooga, 1:30 VCU at number 4 Virginia, 2 o'clock Florida A&M at Georgia Tech, Incarnate Word LSU, Georgia College in Charleston, St. Francis, Pennsylvania and Delaware, South Florida and Charlotte was canceled due to inclement weather. That's headed for the Carolinas. Coastal Carolina, Wofford, New Rochelle, Wagner, 2:30 Navy Lipscomb, 3 o'clock ESPN, number 7 Tennessee against number 1 Gonzaga from Phoenix. Give me Rui Hachimura and the Gonzaga Bulldogs to win this one. I just think they're the better team. Ball State, Evansville, Western State, Denver, Tennessee State, Coppin State, 3:30 Oregon State, St. Louis, 4 o'clock Cal State, Northridge, San Diego, Milwaukee, North Dakota, 5 o'clock Santa Clara hosts Sonoma State, Sanford at Alabama A&M, 5:30 from Phoenix, number 6 Nevada against Grand Canyon, 6 o'clock ESPN2 Purdue in Texas. I like Purdue there. Southern against Iowa State, 7 o'clock Montana State, Washington State, and last but not least, Seattle at Washington. NBA last night. Couple games on the slate. The Mavericks defeat the Rockets 107-104. Luka Doncic put on a show there at the end. Dallas is 3-11. Houston 11-14. The Pacers defeat the Kings 107-97. Pacers 16-10. Sacramento 13-12. The Hawks defeat the Nuggets 106-98. The Hawks are 6-20. Denver 17-9. The Nets defeat the Knicks 112-104. Brooklyn 10-18. Knicks 8-19. The Cavaliers defeat the Wizards 116-101. Cavs are 6-20. Washington is 11-15. The Celtics crushed the Bulls 133-77. Worst loss in franchise history for the Bulls. Best road win in franchise history for the Celtics. Or I should say most lopsided. Boston 15-10. Chicago 6-21. The Lakers defeat the Grizzlies 111-88. Lakers go to 16-10. Memphis drops to 15-10. Trailblazers defeat the Timberwolves 113-105. The Blazers improve to 15-11. Minnesota drops to 13-13. The Heat defeat the Clippers 121-98. Impressive win for Miami to go to 11-14. Clippers drop to 16-9. Today's slate, 3:30 Pelicans Pistons. 6 o'clock NBA TV, Bucks Raptors. 7 o'clock Jazz Spurs. 7:30 Hornets Knicks. NHL, yesterday was a pretty big slate. The Flyers defeat the Sabres 6-2. The Flyers improve to 12-12-3. Buffalo drops to 17-9-4. Buffalo had a 2-0 lead in that game. Philly came back. Kings defeat the Golden Knights 5-1. The Kings improved to 11-18-1. Vegas drops to 16-14-1. The Bruins defeat the Maple Leafs 6-3. The Bruins improve to 15-10-4. Toronto drops to 29-1. The Rangers defeat the Panthers 5-4 in a shootout. The Rangers improve to 14-12-3. Florida drops to 11-11-6. The Senators defeat the Penguins 2-1 in overtime. The Senators improve to 13-14-3. Pittsburgh drops to 12-10-6. Islanders defeat the Red Wings 3-2. Islanders improve to 14-11-3. Detroit drops to 13-13-4. The Lightning defeat the Avalanche 7-1. Lightning go to 23-7-1. Colorado drops to 17-8-5. Capitals defeat the Blue Jackets 4-0. Impressive win for Washington to improve to 17-9-3. Columbus drops to 16-11-2. The Sharks defeat the Coyotes 5-3. The Sharks go to 15-11-5. Arizona drops to 13-13-2. The Flames defeat the Predators 5-2. Predators go to 19-9-2. Or I'm sorry, that was the Flames record. Preds drop to 19-10-1. Today's slate, 3 o'clock Canucks, Blues, Flyers, Jets, 5 o'clock Bruins, Senators, 6 o'clock Canadiens, Blackhawks, 8 o'clock Ducks host the Devils, 9 o'clock Flames at the Oilers, and Stars at the Golden Knights. Now I'm going to discuss today's NFL slate. 1 o'clock you have the Giants at the Redskins. No Odell Beckham Jr. today due to a quad injury. So expect to see a lot of Saquon Barkley. Mark Sanchez is starting for the Redskins, and that's all you need to know. The Jets and the Bills. This is the worst game on the slate easily. The Jets are literally playing for a draft pick at this point. Buffalo, Josh Allen has shown some flashes. The Saints at the Bucs. This is a revenge spot for New Orleans. This was the team that ruined everybody's survivor pools in week 1 by beating the Saints. I'm talking about the Bucs. So I expect the Saints to go out there and win by double digits, especially after coming off that bad loss in Dallas. Panthers at the Dolphins. Patriots at the Dolphins. Tom Brady and the Pats have a bad history of losing in Miami. I think this game's close, but the Pats find a way. The Ravens at the Chiefs. A lot of people think this is a trap game for Kansas City with the Chargers looming next week. I just think the Ravens are a complete fraud and that the Chiefs are going to run them over. The Colts at the Texans is the biggest 1 o'clock game. So it's either the Colts stay alive for a wild card or the Texans wrap away the AFC South. I'm interested to see how the Colts perform after that bad loss last week. The Panthers and the Browns. You have the Panthers who are in free fall. They've lost 4 in a row. The Browns shown flashes, especially at home. Falcons-Packers is the battle of NFL disappointments. We'll see who comes out the winner in that game. The Broncos and the 49ers starts off your 4 o'clock slate. This is a trap game for Denver. They just lost Emmanuel Sanders and Chris Harris to injuries. Nick Mullins is Nick Mullins, but he's throwing for a lot of yards, but that's garbage time mostly. But I do think Mullins plays well and the Niners win. You have the Bengals at the Chargers. I think this game is closer and low scoring than people expect because I think the Chargers are looking ahead to the Chiefs game Thursday night. 4:25 on Fox, Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, and Aaron Andrews on the call. Eagles-Cowboys, biggest game of the day. Winner probably wins the NFC East. The losers are either in the wild card or not in the playoffs at all. I think the Cowboys come away victorious there. Lions-Cardinals is not a fun game at all. They are littered with injuries, the Lions and the Cardinals. Both teams are littered with injuries. The Steelers and the Raiders, no James Conner for the Steelers. I think that the Steelers win this game by double digits. And last but not least, the Rams and the Bears. Trap game for the Rams, like people are saying. Maybe. Mitch Trubisky's back, but I don't believe in the Bears. And tomorrow we'll go over Vikings Seahawks. Before we go, I want to talk about the winter meetings a little bit. There's a lot of players that could be on the move, a lot of players that could sign. We did the predictions on Friday, but I'm just going to give out what I'm looking forward to the most. Obviously, Bryce Harper, Manny Machado, do they sign? What big-name pitcher gets traded? Madison Bumgarner, Corey Kluber, Trevor Bauer. I'm interested to see where relievers go. There's a lot of good relievers on the market. Zach Britton, David Robertson, Craig Kimbrell, Adam Ottavino among them. And then you have some veteran arms on the market. Dallas Keuchel and Charlie Morton. Jay Happ, where do they go? Did the Arizona Diamondbacks continue their sell-off? Do the Braves make a move for an ace? Do the Red Sox improve their bullpen? Do the Orioles trade some assets? Do the Cubs make a splash? Do the White Sox make a splash? There's people saying that the White Sox are bidding for both Bryce Harper and Manny Machado. Wow. That would be the surprise of the winter if one of them went to the White Sox. The Reds, they're rumored to some big-name free agent pitchers. Will they make a move? The Indians, obviously, will they trade one of their big two arms? Are the Rockies a sleeping giant this winter? Detroit Tigers, will they trade some assets? Like Michael Fulmer, Nicholas Castellanos, maybe? The Houston Astros, Will they sign some pitchers or make a trade for a pitcher? You also have the Kansas City Royals. Will they trade off some assets like a Whit Merrifield? Dodgers, will they make a big splash? Are the Angels a dark horse looming for somebody? Will the Marlins trade JT Realmuto? Will the Brewers make a splash? Will the Twins make a splash or even go the other way and trade like a Miguel Sano or something like that? Will the Mets make another big trade or a big signing? I think the biggest and most fascinating team in this winter meetings is the Yankees. I think they can come away with Harper and Machado and a stud pitcher. If that happens, they're the World Series favorites for next year, and it's not close. Although the Dodgers can think that they're close if they end up getting a stud pitcher too. And obviously the Red Sox if they improve their pen, and if the Astros if they get some arms in that rotation. But they're going to come away as the consensus favorites for the World Series, the Yankees, if they somehow get Bryce Harper, Manny Machado, and one of those stud pitchers that are available via trade. Or do they been doing what they've been doing the last couple of years and make little moves like a re-sign J. Happ or bring in somebody like Daniel Murphy? But we'll see. But to me, they're the most interesting team this week, and it's not close. The Athletics, will they upgrade their rotation? Will the Philadelphia Phillies make a splash? They've been saving their money for this time, like the Yankees, so let's see what they do. Pittsburgh Pirates, what direction do they go? I'm going to say that they try to add rather than subtract. Will the Seattle Mariners rebuild continue? The San Diego Padres, will they make a splash? They're rumored to making some splashes and whatnot. They always tend to do something. San Francisco Giants, will they begin a rebuild? I think they should, and I think they will. The St. Louis Cardinals made a splash already by trading for Paul Goldschmidt. Will they make another splash in their rotation or even their bullpen? The Tampa Bay Rays, will they make a move to improve their offense or get a veteran starting pitcher or improve their bullpen? Will they do something? They're quiet. The Texas Rangers, they're interesting. They're quiet too. Nobody's talking about them. And the other T team that nobody's talking about is the Toronto Blue Jays. The three T teams, Tampa, Texas, Toronto, nobody's talking about them. They're quiet. What's up? Will Toronto trade Marcus Stroman? Will they trade Justin Smoke? Remain to be seen. And last but not least, the Washington Nationals, they made the big splash last week by signing Patrick Corbin. Will they make another splash via trying to get a big name reliever? Will they bring back Daniel Murphy? Interesting questions to follow. And that's it for the podcast today. I'll be back tomorrow recapping NFL Week 14. Look ahead to tomorrow's Vikings and the Seahawks game. College basketball, NBA, NHL, and go over everything that happens in the winter meetings. I hope you guys have a great day, everybody.